If you clicked on this video because all you care about is strong, projecting, room-filling fragrances, well, of course, you're in the right place. Projection, that is the essence of a fragrance pushing out beyond your personal space, right? A lot of fragrances and your typical traditional men's colognes will usually be a little bit closer to the skin. At least that's how they were creating them back in the day. You know, your more traditional citrus aromatics, aromatic fougères, that sort of thing, or aftershaves. A lot of the times they would sit pretty close to the skin. It would be more of a personal thing. Like if someone were to get into your personal space, they would be able to pick up on an aroma, it would smell great, and maybe you would get a compliment out of it. And it's so crazy to see the shift where nowadays, if a fragrance doesn't have room-filling projection, a lot of times people won't even look at it. So if you want strong projection, you want something that's going to be a head turner, an attention grabber, something that will really just push out and really occupy a space. We've got 10 of them here, and we'll go ahead and get into that. And also, I will link these down below as well to discounters so you can get them at a price below retail. I'm going to start off right here, Armani Code Profumo. So we have tonka bean, amber, and leather. You guys know this one. Huge hype monster. And it's justified. I love it. I really do. It's one of those fragrances that are going to be a little bit more polarizing simply due to the fact that it is kind of playful. It's very loud, very strong. It's going to be a younger guy's scent typically. Now, you could wear this one any age, of course, but it's going to appeal to the younger audience. If you're someone who is into, you know, fragrances with a lot of class and sophistication and this kind of expensive, luxurious smell, this is not really going to be for you. But if you want something sweet and strong and powerful and a really good mass-pleasing scent that really excels in the wintertime, check this one out. We're going to go over a discontinued fragrance up next. You guys know my rule. I don't feature discontinued fragrances unless you can still pick them up. And that's the caveat here. It's 1 million lucky. Discontinued, confirmed by the brand. I've done a video on it, but you can still pick this one up easily for a normal price. You know, this one hasn't gone crazy yet, but it will. So I'm trying to focus on this one and talk about it and feature it as much as I can right now, because in, who knows, a few months or whatever, I may not be able to talk about it anymore at all because the prices will either be super high and or you just can't find it anywhere. And this one has honey, plum, ozonic notes, and hazelnut. It's really quite unique and different. You know, I was reluctant at first. I wasn't too crazy about it. I just didn't think it was something to get excited about, you know, when I first smelled it, when it first came out. But over the years, I've come around to it. Admittedly, I really, really like this one now. And it just so happens to work out, as luck would have it. As soon as I really start coming around to it and I really warm up to it, they don't make it anymore. Seems like there's a good amount of it out there still. It's available in a lot of places. I will link it down below to the best price. You can get 200 milliliter bottles for just a hair over $100. 100 mil still floating in the mid $80 range. So really the price per mil speaks for itself. 200 mil would be the way to go. Perfect backup bottle size. You'll have a ton of it. You'll never run out, at least for many years you won't. Sad to see this one go, but it is a big performer, a big projector, a big room filler. This one, it gets it done. We're going to go over to a new release up next. It is Azzaro, the Most Wanted Parfum. Love the bottle, love the concept. You know, it's a little bit confusing because it kind of looks like Azzaro Wanted by Night Parfum because it has the Wanted by Night look to it, just with a darker gradient and a darker gunmetal finish up here on top. But hey, you know, it is what it is. This one has 3 notes, ginger, vanilla, and woodsy notes. So, you know, they're going to the more trendy 3-note breakdown here. I can't complain. You do get the ginger, a little bit of a kind of a fresh spiciness. The vanilla comes through, giving it a good dose of sweetness here. So it falls into that category of being very sweet. But the woods kind of brings it back, you know. It's not too overboard. There are definitely much sweeter fragrances out there in the market for men than this one. So I think this one strikes a nice balance. I would take this over the Most Wanted any day. Any day. I love this one so much more than the Most Wanted. Now, do I like it better than Wanted by Night? Not quite, but it's right there. I would rank it as Azzaro Wanted by Night first, the Most Wanted Parfum second, and the Most Wanted All Black Bottle third. That would be my ranking. I think this one is significantly better for me. Some people would prefer the toffee and the other aspects of just the original Most Wanted, but this Parfum version here really hits the nail on the head. It's grown on me a lot. Gonna go over to another beast mode projector. It's YSL Eau de Parfum. No shock, no surprise. You've seen it all the time. You're probably tired of seeing it. I am as well. But I would be doing this video a severe disservice if I didn't include this one. And we'll just go ahead and spray it on because I love this stuff. Of course, it's got tonka bean, it's got sage, lavender, bergamot, amberwood. You know, it's YSL's take on a blue fragrance. They're kind of dipping their toes in. But what I admire about this one is that it's not really your traditional blue fragrance, you know? If you take a look at what some of the other brands have done, for example, Prada, they just went right for the throat and they just about cloned Sauvage. I mean, it's very close. So that was one way. There are other fragrance brands, companies that have kind of walked further into the direction of a Bleu de Chanel. It's kind of a different style of blue fragrance, more classy, but thus still a blue fragrance. That's where it originated from. And then, you know, there's a lot of other ones out there as well. You've got the Aqua Atlantiques, you know, kind of getting more aquatic, Dylan Blue, a little bit more sweet and kind of smoky. This one here, it's taking a more sweet approach, but also a much more aromatic approach. And that's the beauty of this one, is the aromatic qualities. That's why I love it so much. You do open up with a nice apple, a nice crisp apple here in this one. The sweetness comes in, the lavender aromatics, the sage comes in. It's very nice stuff, very playful, kind of youthful. You know, it's not going to be Bleu de Chanel, classy and luxurious. It's going to be on the more young side, but it's a projection beast. It's a compliment monster. I love everything about this one. And let's go over to Pure Excess Night by Paco Rabanne. So we've got caramel, myrrh, vanilla, and cacao as some of the main notes. Now, some people will struggle with this one primarily because of the ginseng note. It's spicy, like seriously spicy. When you first spray it on, just about dropped it. These bottles are heavy and they are kind of awkward, but you know, it's strong stuff when you first spray it. To the point where the first couple times I wore it, I was like, I'm not really too sure. You know, the opening was a little bit hard to get past. But as I continued to test this one out, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm starting to come around to it. You got to get to the dry down. As soon as you get to that myrrh and that caramel and all of that sweetness, it gets silky smooth, very sexy, and the projection on this one is very high. We're gonna go over to one niche fragrance. Actually, we've got two, but you know, this one is more niche priced than the other one that we're gonna feature here in a second. It's Parfums de Marly Greenley. So of course we've got green apple, bergamot, oak moss, musk, cashmeran. It's musky and modern, kind of fruity, citrusy, woody. It's a very, very nice scent. Fits in perfectly with their fresher offerings. So I'm kind of looking at Sedley and Percival, those two, both blue bottles. This one though is surprisingly, right, much more green. No shock there, of course. The green apple is adding to that, but also just the oak moss, the woods, has some more green aspects to it. It's kind of more fragrance enthusiast centric, at least comparing it to Sedley and Percival, just because it has a little bit less of that super focus on musk and kind of the citrus and the ambroxan and that sort of thing that Percival Sedley has. And, you know, it kind of takes a different approach. A little bit more sour, green, fruity, very woody from that oak moss, green, musky. It's a different take. It's something that not everyone would like, but if you are into citrus and fruitiness and woods and you like strong projecting and long-lasting fragrances, it's really hard to go wrong with this one. This one got an immediate love reaction from my girlfriend when I first got this one in. And I mean, it filled up the entire room just from one or two sprays. And so I knew that it was going to be a big performer. I knew it was going to be one that would just go over well, typically in a lot of situations. It's a very nice scent. We're going to go and knock out the other niche fragrance up next. It's Vetiver Sensuel by Mancera. So, of course, you guys know the price range on these. If you're shopping in the right places, and I will drop that link down below, less than $100 for 120 milliliters, at that point you're at designer price. That's just how it is. Vetiver, lime, orange, lemon, some of the main notes. Very, very bright and citrusy, very soapy clean vetiver centric as well. Seriously, there are designer fragrances out there more expensive than this one. That's something else. You know, it really is when you think about it. These are great price per milliliter. They're great jumping off points to get into niche fragrances. You can ease into it and spend, in some instances, less than a designer. Like if you were to get into a Chanel, guess what? At discounters, if you're shopping in the right places, this one is more affordable. It's pretty cool. These do have the upgraded magnetic cap, as you can see, rather than the kind of twist off threaded ones, and pressurized upgraded atomizers. Love the presentation, love the scent, bright, clean, fresh, super wearable. That vetiver comes through right away. It's a nice soapy kind of earthy vetiver, but it's not too strong or too smoky or too dry or anything like that. This one's very easy to wear and it's very potent. Second to last, we have the One Mysterious Night by Dolce & Gabbana. We've got oud, rose, saffron, and amber are some of the main notes. Really like it. It's got some hints of that original Dolce & Gabbana, the One DNA in there, but with you know, a more Middle Eastern take, the rose, the oud coming through. It's not too challenging. You know, it's not going to be for everybody for sure. Teenagers out there, probably not, unless you're into this sort of thing, of course. But it's going to be something where you just want to be craving something different. And at the end of the day, that's what this one is all about. If you want a change of pace, if you want something that's a little bit unconventional, at least in this market here in the US, this is what you go for. It's a strong projecting fragrance. It's a good long-lasting fragrance as well. Quality is great. I'm not super into oud rose combinations. It's never really been my thing. I can appreciate one here and there, but this is one that I really like. It's also an exclusive edition. Sometimes can be hard to get, sometimes can be a bit more expensive, but I've got a good price for you down below. And last up, Bvlgari Man Terra Essence. Vetiver, earthy notes, and citron are some of the main notes. So this is kind of their newest, latest addition into the line. This is the one that they are trying like crazy to push, and I don't understand it. They discontinued wood neroli, and I reached out to them, Bvlgari, to get confirmation, and they did confirm that. And they were like, you know, yeah, wood neroli is discontinued. We're so sorry about that. Here's something you might like, Terra Essence. That's so incredibly misleading. You know, that's just not really cool, because if you have someone who doesn't know a whole lot about fragrances and they stumbled upon wood neroli, which to be fair, it's not like a huge hype monster scent, discontinued for a reason, either reformulation and also probably that it just wasn't selling. They didn't want to spend the money to reformulate it to kind of go against the regulations and stuff, the IFRA regulations, so they just decided to cut it off. But still, I mean, this is nothing like any other fragrance in this lineup. You know what it's like? It's kind of like a more wearable version of Gucci Guilty Absolute or Killian Dark Lord. It's earthy, it's leathery, it's smoky and dry. This is not your typical designer. It's not going to sell well. This one, I would imagine, I would bet money on it, is going to be discontinued within the next few years. I don't know why they're trying to push this one. This type of thing just doesn't go over well. That being said, in the community, it would probably do decently well. It's a strong performer, good projector. I like it, but not everyone will. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 fragrances with room-filling projection. These are strong. These get the job done. I will provide links down below so you can pick them up at a price below retail. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.